Greetings and good day, ladies and gents, one and all. Greetings and welcome back to, you know it, Let's Play Scratches, the Director's Cut edition. I have returned after a little pause, a pause that will be non-existent to all those of you who are watching this in the future, and not directly after it has been, whatever, uploaded. In any case, let us continue the adventure, shall we? The 22nd of February is approaching, or was approaching, feels a little bit weird to say it like this, the day when I will start a new Let's Play. Let us not waste any time. I hope that God can forgive us for all the countless sacrileges we've committed already, around and here within the chapel of the Blackwoods. But, of course, we did all of it for a very good reason. We want to uncover the truth. We want to find out if James T. Blackwood really murdered his family. Is he dead? Is he still alive? What about his friend Christopher Milton? What about his secret he had together with James's wife, Catherine? Maybe the hole we've uncovered at the end of the last episode, leading into an as of yet unknown chamber, can reveal all the answers to us. Yes, indeed, this very hole, opening, or hatch, whatever word you prefer. You should all remember what we went through to uncover it. Yes, this strange mechanism we activated. We had to stick a nail into the feet of Jesus Christ. Then we had to use our crowbar to shove the sign above the statue around a little bit. And after that, voila! Now then, what could be waiting for us down there? Perhaps the darkest secret of James T. Blackwood yet? Maybe something completely unexpected? Unrelated to the case whatsoever? Who knows? All I know is that this is going to be a very dangerous and brave act, descending into the unknown like this. Then again though, I don't see any reason or excuses as to why we shouldn't descend. Now then, let us uncover James T. Blackwood's secret, one and all. Well, here we are, all alone in the darkness again. But there's the hatch and the statue. Oh my, this is a very short ladder. I was expecting it to be longer. Well, the darkness is definitely not inviting. I can make out objects, but not in greater detail. Strangely enough, though, I am not all that scared. Not at all, to be honest. Most likely due to the fact that I've seen too much already in this place. Do we have any alternate light sources? Yes, 2 matches, but do I want to waste them? Then again, would it be a waste when it comes to such an important discovery? There's a lamp with a cord, but considering everything we've experienced in terms of electricity so far, I'd say that... Oh, of course, the electricity is not there, the lamp doesn't work. Bugger. What is this? Looks like a candle holder. The only thing illuminated a little bit more than the rest of the objects, and do my eyes deceive me? It was nearly impossible to discern anything in the secret room, but that seemed to be a candle. Are you for real? It is an actual candle, almost completely burnt down, yes, but it is a candle, ladies and gentlemen. The one object we've been looking for ever since the adventure began. Not so much in the second, but a lot in the first half of it. Damn! Talk about the discovery. It's a candle! Oh god, I think I'm freaking out. This is amazing. A little. Alright then. I am starting to feel a little bit less comfortable down here, stuck inside the abyss. So, let us illuminate the candle with one of our 2 remaining matches. Alright, Mr. Candle, please do me the favor and reveal the secrets of James T. Blackwood's hidden chamber to us all. And so Michael Arthite spoke, "Let there be light," and he saw that it was good. So, this is the room where James T. Blackwood spent a lot, if not all, of his remaining time before he vanished, I presume. The candle was now providing a gentle light. Now then, what do we have inside this secret chamber? A very cramped atmosphere, that's for sure. Not as big as I would have expected this place to be, but still ominous enough. Time to let the examination process begin. We have a shelf with books, an old wooden table with plenty of objects on it, light sources, notes, a pen, a pipe, and a cup. This doesn't look like the lair of an insane mass murderer at all. More like the improvised study chamber of a lonely, desperate fella. But what about that metal object on the wall? Looks like a face with demon horns. No idea what purpose it could serve. And here we have a map of Africa, of course. I can imagine what James did inside this room. In fact, I am almost 100% certain that within these four very walls, James T. Blackwood studied the history of the Dalmar in secrecy, without anybody being aware of it. Let us begin to inspect everything. Somewhere within these pages, I am sure, we will uncover the truth. Most of the books scattered in the hidden room were about occultism and African culture. Even their titles were disturbing. These are most definitely the books James always mentioned within his notes. He exchanged his own African objects for literature. He also tried to get away from the books again, as mentioned in the note of the greenhouse, how they slowly made him go insane. I wonder if you can close this chamber from in here, and if you can open it up again. I am pretty sure you can. Jesus. Can you imagine such a scenario? James T. Blackwood all alone here in the darkness, probably every day, studying, reading, slowly going insane while trying to figure out why his family was suffering from such a horrible curse. Good God. Whether he is still alive or already dead, I feel sorry for him. Deeply sorry. Strange titles, such as The Vermes Mysteries, gave me the shivers. As much as I love books, I didn't even dare to open those. Understandable, Michael, understandable. Well, so far the investigation has brought up nothing new but, you know, more sad details about the past of James. Let's see what we have here on the table. Plenty of notes. Look at this. We have two main piles, number 1 and number 2. Interesting. What else do we have? A pen? A piece of tree branch? That's strange. Well, overall, nothing new. We've already spotted these items a few minutes ago from far away. Well, not too far away, but you get the idea. Well, it is of course not hard to see that once again all paths are headed towards the same destination, the huge pile of probably 2 notes here in the middle. What if James T. Blackwood is truly dead and no longer among the living? We've only received vague clues so far, hinting at that he could be alive still, but what if he is dead? If that is the case, then these notes could be his last will. His final words to the world, his wishes, his regrets, everything. Let us read this. March 26th. The folklore of the Dalmar is just as disturbing as their vicious attacks. If my researchers have been correct, then I could have stumbled upon one of the most ancient tribes ever known to humanity, dating back to the era where the so-called Bushmen inhabited South Africa. We are talking over 20,000 years ago. How could any civilization managed to survive all this time without ever hunting or expanding. Just being there. I don't dare to imagine what 200 centuries of inbreeding and cannibalism can do to people. I've seen them, and they can't be called humans. What is most unsettling is their mystical background. Impossible to be considered a religion due to a complete lack of basic rules and maturity. The only simple premise is to keep an evil entity at bay, which has been stalking them since the beginning of time, or Dark Ages. At this point in my research, I had to stop and consider the implications. The Dalmar actually thought of their later period, the systematic slaughtering of mankind, as good times or golden ages. I thank the Lord that this tribe never managed to grow, as I seriously think the region, maybe even the entire continent, would have suffered terrible consequences. This history is so ancient that it makes me feel dizzy. The vengeful god, which is incidentally referred to as Dalham, would control the Dalmar via its many incarnations. Most of the time, it would be a tall, feline-like figure, always dwelling in shadows and slaying any villager who would unwittingly come close. Some say its deadly claws would not only penetrate your body, but your soul. The purpose of the harassment is unclear. It would look as if the Dalmar were simple toys to play with. It seems then that the Dalmar managed to free themselves from its clutches with the help of an amulet or charm, effectively forcing the entity to retreat. The most curious thing is how this amulet was conceived. Two main elements were required to perform the exorcising of this evil, and they had to be strictly related to each other, one representing the victim and other representing the victimizer. To achieve this, something related to each one was used. While I am not sure what is referred to as the victim, I think it can be concluded that anything belonging to any villager would have served, given that they were all victims. As for something representing the victimizer, that may have been more complicated. What could possibly be related to a god? This god in question. Next, these elements had to be mixed with a rare medicinal plant native to the region, which apparently had the properties to blend both items together, as long as they were not too solid. Finally, a branch of a particular tree, whose name escapes me now, had to be used as the holder of the blended items. It is on this item that a mysterious blessing was performed. It should be noted that all the elements had to be organic. The Dalmar successfully released themselves from the control of the vicious god with an intense ritual that seems to have taken days to perform. In the end, the amulet was so powerful that the entity surrendered to their will and offered divine power in exchange for sacrifices. But the Dalmar wouldn't allow themselves to be fooled. They decided that getting rid of this evil once and for all would be the wisest thing to do. So they managed to capture its spirit and store it someplace where they could guard it for ages to come. My God. My God. The evil spirit was cast into a mask, trapped inside the confines of its blessed wood for eternity. A mask which its description bears uncanny resemblance to. Who am I fooling? It is that mask. The Dalmar would keep the spirit at bay via regular rituals, involving the bloody sacrifices and the aforementioned amulet. The last book I read today about the Dalmar, in reality, 2 small paragraphs as amusing bonus reading in a book lent by the museum, has revealed to me something that left me completely paralyzed with terror. I've always wondered, since I began studying them, what made the Dalmar savagely slaughter neighboring tribes without any apparent reason. Was it a violent raw instinct? Did they feel threatened in any way? Was it by a perverse, ungodly sense of enjoyment? No. It was fear. Fear that someone else would take the mask and release the god. They killed to protect themselves from falling again into the Dark Ages. If they went to such extreme lengths to avoid this, then what did they have to endure when the entity was free? The rituals haven't been performed on the mask for years now. What have I done? What have I done? Oh, no. No. This cannot be real. This is just a bad joke. A trick. Something to deceive me. Something to make me believe into the supernatural. No, this story is humbug. Nonsense. It cannot be the truth I've been looking for. No. Are you serious? A god? What we are dealing with here, what we have been dealing with all this time, is a bloody African entity? A god? This is ridiculous. No, this doesn't make sense. Or does it? Is this the explanation? Is this the source of the strange visions? Most of the noises? Is whoever we saw down in the basement not an actual human, but a god that was sealed long ago, slowly regaining his strength and taking shape? Or something like that? No! I refuse to believe this abstract reality. But what else do I have to believe? There is nothing else I can choose, right? Oh, James T. Blackwood, I want to feel sorry for you, but you darn fool. Just what were you thinking when you stole this ritual mask? You knew nothing about it, and yet you decided to steal it. The Dalmar, they are not a bloodthirsty tribe of cannibals, not just that, no. They were guardians, keepers. they tried to keep this ancient evil god at bay. And now there haven't been any blood rituals in years. I have to read the second note. My mind is all over the place. We can try to make sense of things later, try to find our way back to the normality of this world. But first, let us read the second note. What else do you have to tell me, James? April 5th, 1963. Christopher, these may very well be my last notes in this regard. I'm afraid Catherine has already realized what I've been doing here all the time. In vain, I've tried to explain myself, and I know what might have been the outcome had I kept insisting. If you could only believe me, Christopher, because I know you intend well, but I can feel the doubt in your heart. Put your rational thoughts aside for a moment and yield to the facts. If I can do it, someone who was constantly taught in the wonders of science ever since his childhood, then so can you. I am hoping that you will contemplate the possibility of some truth in my assessments once you read about my latest findings. It is imperative that you carry on with this task. Catherine is watching my every step, and I'm afraid she'll take strong measures if I do anything out of the ordinary. Did you know she has been talking to other doctors besides you, and psychiatrists? My God, Christopher, I fear that she is willing to shut me up in a madhouse. How is it possible that all of you won't believe me? As if what happened with my own son wasn't enough proof. In my adjunct notes, you will find an exhaustive essay on the origin of the curse and what should be done to eliminate it. I know the whole amulet deal must sound crazy, but you have to trust me. The tribe has been doing this for centuries. Are you going to forfeit all that knowledge and experience? They faced a god, Christopher, and lived to tell it. Now, it's our turn to live and tell the story. And, Christopher, if we fail to remove the curse and anything happens to me, I want you to do it. And I have my complete mental faculties whilst I'm asking you this. It has been becoming more and more dangerous lately. Do not hesitate. There is simply no other way, and you would be the only one left who can do it. Promise me you will. I know I am asking you to become a cold-hearted murderer. But Christopher, our lives, and possibly many others, are at stake. Isn't that enough to forget your woe, James? This is too much for my mind to comprehend. It is a letter of James to Christopher, and he is telling Christopher to continue his work should he not make it. The date is the 5th of April 1963, the date of the year when Catherine and presumably James died. He wrote this letter before Catherine's death. Catherine was starting to suspect James of being into something very strange and insane. He knew that he would not be able to hide his hobby away much longer. But not just that. He desperately begged Christopher for help. He asked why no one would believe him, and that only Christopher would be the chosen one to continue this horrible act of work. But that's not it. There is more to this letter. James is not just desperately begging for help. Catherine apparently tried to contact other doctors and even psychiatrists. She wanted to have James committed. Is that the reason why he killed her? Did Christopher perhaps kill Catherine? But it cannot be. They had a secret that is nowhere mentioned inside this letter. Just what am I to believe? And the list goes on. This one sentence, as if what happened with my son wasn't enough proof. That sentence means it shows that James did not murder his son. He says, as if what happened with my son wasn't proof enough. He didn't kill Robin. He is still thinking that the curse killed his son. Did the curse kill Robin? Or were Christopher and Catherine somehow involved? Did they for some reason kill Robin? And James was only obsessed with the thought that the curse caused it to happen? However, the worst is being mentioned at the end of the letter. Judging from what we found out so far, a blood ritual has to be made in order to seal the evil spirit of the mask. There is just no other way. James told Christopher to become a cold-hearted murderer. And why? To find ingredients for the ritual. Organic ingredients are needed, something that belongs to the victim and the victimizer. I have no idea what could belong to the victimizer, but the victim? Wouldn't the victim be, for example, Catherine? Catherine's blood, perhaps? Did James kill Catherine to get an ingredient for the ritual? Would he really go that far? Did he kill Christopher? Or did Christopher become the successor of James' work and kill his best friend? Who killed whom? What is going on? Just what is the truth I am looking for? Blood rituals? Good God. This is just insane. This is not real. This is a nightmare. This is my own personal hell. Judging by all the notes we found, James couldn't convince Christopher. The only thing Christopher did was to lock the mask up inside the little storeroom behind the gallery. Christopher tried to ignore that all and later regretted his decisions, but when he did, it was already too late. He could still hear the noises at a time when James was no longer around. Who is still alive? Who has passed away? And and to put the fucking cherry on top, nobody else is around anymore but me. And I am guessing that nobody performed a ritual onto the mask. I have to become the successor of James and Christopher's work. What do I do? How did it come to something like this?